What's going on, everybody? Chi Eddie here from the Caliber Collective. Today, we have an exciting opportunity. A game that's been on my radar for a while has been Hunger. And for the longest time, there's been very little known about it. There's been very little press release. We got into their Discord trying to find somebody who was in charge over there. Was a mission. They have everything locked down tight. All of their information, who's running the project, everything has been shrouded in some form of mystery. And I think that's why I've been so eager to get my paws on something concrete, definitive, that I could look at, review with you all, and say, no shit, this game is going to be good. First, let's get into what is Hunger. And I'm just going to read straight off of the Steam page, the About This Game section. Hunger is a sinister plague has befallen war-torn Europe, unleashing unspeakable horrors. Step into heart-pounding darkness in Hunger, a masterful blend of first-person shooter, slasher, RPG, and horror gameplay set in the desolate ruins of Napoleonic Europe, otherwise known as the world after the end. As a survivor among the living, embark on a solitary journey or unite with allies in pairs or trios. See, this is super important. They're already giving us little snippets, little pieces of information, little breadcrumbs so we could start to piece together what this is and what this is going to be. So we can kind of temper our expectations as a community. Right off the bat, they tell us that we're only going to be in solos, pairs, or trios, and we're going to be navigating a perilous landscape haunted by monstrous beings spawned from the plague's wrath, the Hunger. So to me, the game isn't just hunger being the will to survive. You actually need food. To me, hunger is this disease, this plague that has befallen all of Europe. Now, it is set in France. From what we have here, we have a photo of the map. We can kind of see some interesting pieces, and everything that we're going to be showing you guys today is something super detailed, and you can just tell from every bit, every piece, every art depiction of something in the game that this is going to be something that has a lot of passion poured into it. Now, if you notice, this is the map of France. From what has been described by the developers, we are going to be starting our journey at the chateau. The chateau is where we're going to set up, gear up, get ready to embark on our journeys and head into what I think could potentially eventually be an endless amount of maps, considering this plague has spanned over all of Europe. They even have parts of Britain, Great Britain, the UK, the United Kingdom is on the map. Like, it's there. You can see it. You see Old Linden up here. They have hordes marked on the map. I'm assuming, this is just an assumption. Before we dive into anything deeper, let me preface by saying nothing that we are going to go over today is concrete, definitive proof straight from the dev's mouth. Take every single thing that we talk about here today with a grain of salt, okay? This is our analysis of the photos and the press kits that we've been provided by Good Fun Corp. So you see here on the map, we have the chateau. Now, in the description on Steam, we have been told that there are various chateaus, right? Find your place in the unforgiving world after the end. Your survival and prosperity are intertwined with the denizens of the chateau, a broad array of quest givers, shopkeepers, stash keepers, bounty hunters, and other living. Completing quests and building your reputation broadens your access to new locations, abilities, characters, weapons, gear, and vital resources. So like I said, right off the bat, we already know the landscape. We know that we're going to be in solos, duos, or trios. This is probably all information, if you're following this title, that you are already well aware of. So at this point, we're kind of just stating this for the newer folks, the folks that we're trying to introduce and build up some hype surrounding this title. But the chateaus, there are 3 additional chateau areas. That's one that's got us scratching our heads over here, because we see the one chateau marked on the map. Now, if you tell me there's additional chateaus, I'm curious, is this going to be something that is level locked? Once you progress enough, you're going to unlock additional chateaus, because like they said, these are like your hubs. These are where you're going to get gear. You're going to get quests. You're going to party up, pair up. This could be a social interaction hub, much like Destiny's Tower, where you run into other players you can talk, interact, do cool things with. So if there's 3 additional, right? That means there's 4 total chateaus. On the map here, we're only seeing 1. So time will tell where these other chateaus end up being. And I'm very curious, kind of on the edge of my seat, to see how this system plays out. where these chateaus end up being, how we unlock additional chateaus. Is it maybe a faction system? And this is something that we have been discussing here internally after getting our hands on this information, which we think is a pretty good possibility that this ends up being some form of a faction system. 4 total factions, 4 total chateaus. And then that kind of begs the question of, is everybody in the raid? I say raid with air quotes around it, going to be a kill on sight? Are there going to possibly be some survivor parties out there, another duo, another trio stack that, hey, these guys are aligned with us, maybe we shouldn't fight them, maybe we should work together and take on this hellscape? So now that we've kind of gone through the Steam page, I really would like to start off by getting into the maps and giving you guys a little sneak peek. We're not going to go over everything in today's video. We're going to kind of subsection this off and release more information regarding what we have our hands on as time goes on, as we get a little bit closer to quite possibly us getting information directly from the devs. And when I say us, I mean the players, the community, not just the creators and the press requesting press kits. So they've showed us some of these things, and I don't know, like this to me, this is the Artificer is the name of this image. I'm wondering if these are just rooms in the chateau, or if this is also kind of hinting at a possible hideout, kind of similar to something we have in Tarkov. If there is a hideout, how customizable will it be? Well, time will tell. But you can see they've done research on everything from Napoleonic era Europe to line everything up to make it seem like everything is bound in reality here. There are some fantasy elements, right? There is no living dead, at least not yet in the world, but everything's bound in reality. They did a shitload of research to try to make everything in this environment that they're building be believable, something that is based in reality. Again, we're going to see more of this Artificer art. You're seeing some of these super old Napoleonic era scientific devices, alchemy devices, cartographer equipment. You're seeing old school compasses, maybe some of the first iterations of compasses in here. And this is all just detail that they are putting on a table in the chateau. Like, they're putting massive amounts of work into all of this, and everything that we've seen is just beautiful. This is a map. Now I want everybody to, we see multiple images of the map here. You have nighttime, a daytime fog, and a bright. So this tells me multiple things. I'm sure all of you picked up on this as well. I don't want to insult anybody's intelligence, but here we're seeing time of day and weather conditions in the same area. They're giving us a little sneak peek. I don't know if going out at night is going to be more high risk because you can't see as well. So maybe the rewards will be a little bit better. But one thing that we continuously see is this hot air balloon. So this hot air balloon is in all 3 images. And if you notice, the original map image has the chateau being off of mainland France, probably on a small isle or island. And I'm wondering if this isn't how you're going to get into these raids, into these maps. And if it is, what is it going to cost me to fly over there? What is it going to cost me to get in? Is there going to be a barrier to entry for some of these raids? Is it going to cost resources that we then have to go and make a focus point of our raid time? Is this going to be something that requires maintenance, or is it just going to be very basic, simple, get into the raid using the hot air balloon and then find a way out? The other question that comes up with this hot air balloon, in my opinion, is if we're coming in on a hot air balloon, why can't we just leave on the hot air balloon? Was my first question, and nobody has told me that we can't do that. So maybe your infill and exfil are in the same area, so you could have a very quick raid. If you want to hop off the hot air balloon, go gather some things in close vicinity to it, hop back on and skedaddle, get out. I don't know. We don't know. We're just guessing at this point, or trying to create some form of a smart analysis. Later on, you'll see, actually, I believe it's here in map design, where they talk about there being these bells, these alarms, these trigger traps. And we're wondering if these are not actual living dead strung up, and those are going to be the alarm bells. You set them off, they start screaming. Everybody knows, hey, there's somebody over there. Regardless, everything regarding this map is advanced. This looks like it's rendered in engine. This looks like a playable product, at least in small testing situations. So I think we're close. I hope we're close to getting some more concrete, definitive content on what hunger is and what it's going to be all about. I'm hoping that comes soon, because you see these, like, going back to the whole idea that these are like alarm bells, you see these strung up corpses in multiple areas actually, and they don't appear to be hung by the neck. I mean, they could be, but like I said, this is a plague. They could easily still be alive. We don't even know what it's going to take down these hunger-stricken beings. Like, we don't know. Is it going to take a headshot? Is a headshot going to be the only thing that can kill them? We just simply do not know enough right now. But like I said, here's more photos of this map. And this is one thing that when you're looking at this, I think we all should be asking ourselves, is this a hint at something more? Because they seem to like to do that, give us little bits of the puzzle and let the community kind of put it together. In my opinion, this could possibly be them saying this is seasons. You have something that resembles fall right here, and you have another lush green landscape. This, to me, this screams late spring or the summer. So are we gonna have seasons in hunger? I think it's quite the possibility. This is another one where it's kind of a mix of both. You have some green here, but you have a lot of fall going on. And look at all the chests here. Are these all going to be loot? Is this going to be a high value POI? Is this going to be something that is possibly trapped? Like you have a 25% chance of one of these chests being trapped. We just don't know. We don't know, but regardless, very exciting. All right, let's move into some of the things that we can probably expect to see in the chateau. And you know what? Let's pull up the photo that they've provided us with of the chateau itself, or what we believe is the chateau. So this is level 1.5. We're pretty sure that this is titled fishing camp, but we're kind of wondering if this isn't the chateau, because you see these texts here like trader carts and stalls, the St. Andrew statue, multiple entrances, sheds, and storages. They have these specifically marked in here. Or is this just them planning to build these these landscapes? They have more detailed what the boats are going to look like. They have what the piers or something of that type. Like, there's reference photos. They've done a shitload of research on everything here to include what the shallow water is going to look like. They're referencing real life places in Europe for all of these. It would be too much for us to get into all of these images today. We might do sublet breakdown videos of just specifically the maps, just specifically the characters, just specifically gameplay elements. But for now, we're going to get into the characters. So let's reference back. Let's go all the way back to the source material here, the Steam page. Let's talk about what the characters are, what they're going to do, who they're going to be. So from the early access, what we're eventually going to get our hands on is 6 additional living. So we're going to get quite possibly 7 different characters to choose from. And there's going to be 8 different types of hunger. I'm wondering if those are stages, or when they say hunger, they're referring to the actual beasts themselves, the monsters, because there appears to be quite a bit of variety in what we're going to be facing when we embark on our journeys or raids, how it's going to work. So for the characters, they've given us some very detailed, like, these are probably the characters that we're going to see, but then there's also some reference images, some concept art. There is so much to dive through here. So with the characters, it appears that we're going to have 6 or 7 to choose from. And I have no idea, and I don't think anybody else knows, but if they do, I would love to hear from the community and or other creators and see what information, maybe we can collab on something in the future to discuss kind of some of our findings. With the mention of masteries and talent trees in here, which is under the progress and build section. While much of your equipment and weaponry may be lost, all experience contributes to progressing your living and their level. Each of the living has a set of unlockable, unique passives, tactical and ultimate abilities. So this is something more akin to, like, per se, like a hero shooter, right? Each one of these characters has their set passives. They get a tactical and they get an ultimate ability, but you can kind of build them out among the talent trees and more than 100 talents to choose from how you wish to play. So if there is a character that has a passive and a tactical that's more akin to something like a stealth build, you could then further customize them and build them out. You could make them a sharpshooter if you wanted to. Kind of hide in the shadows, pop a shot, go back into cover or concealment, get away from the fight. Or you can build them more like what somebody in D&D would call like a rogue or something like that, where you get up close and personal, you're stabbing, you're slashing, but you're really hard to pin down. And that's one of the things that kind of excites me. I think when we talk about extraction shooters, people like to reference back to the king, right? The king is Tarkov. Tarkov is the king, one of the first to ever do it, does it in such a way that it's encaptivated an audience to follow this genre moving forward. But here we're seeing a much different take on the extraction shooter. We're seeing some hero shooter elements, but we're also seeing massive customization options with all of these talents and trees, something kind of like maybe an MMORPG. So it's got some MMO elements, some RPG elements, but it is still grounded in the fact that it is an extraction shooter. Like, they have just so much detail, so much work. We're seeing some character customization here with kits. I don't know if this is just simply cosmetic or this is going to play an actual role. But as we get later on, some of these look like you're getting actual modded armor, you're getting some sort of stat bonus. Something is being provided to the character as you level them up. And this is so important because when you're building a game that's going to hook the audience for years and years to come, starting with a strong baseline foundation, like it appears that they're doing here, is so important. We see so much work, so much effort. To me, all of these pictures scream passion. They just scream passion. So when they say there's only 7 additional types of hunger, just know that with each of these 7, there's like different variations of the 7 that you're going to run into. I don't know if that's going to play a factor into how difficult they are to take down, but it'll be interesting nonetheless. Moving forward, we're going to do a quick little overview of some of what I think is coming. We're going to save the weapons for its own specific video. We're going to do a lot more research on all of that, kind of tell you where it stems from, what time period it was used in, and everything else. Right now, we're just doing kind of a baseline overview of the information that we've been provided, and it is a lot. It's a lot of non-direct information, meaning it's a lot of pictures, a lot of images, stuff for us to go through and analyze what we think hunger is going to be. So to finish off this video, we're going to be looking at the health items and the standard items that you're going to be seeing and or interacting with in the universe of hunger. And these ones were the ones that kind of got me the most excited because I think they're very telling of systems or mechanics that will be in place in the game. So we have hip bags here, right? And you see that they're not all the same. Is this a tiered system? Is this something that as you work forward, you're going to be getting better versions of? Because I don't know about you, but I don't want to be walking around with a rusty bucket hanging from my hip, and that's where I'm throwing all my loot in. It's not very secure. Here we see Ampoule, which I believe is going to be some form of a health potion, as indicated by this heart symbol right there. But you see, again, tiered. These are tiered items. You have the very basic all the way to the far left up to the most complex, beautiful, like just immaculate design work all the way on the right. Are these going to be tiers? Are these going to be cosmetics? As I get more proficient in healing my party, am I going to unlock access to better versions of the same gear? And that's what we think this is. We really think this is them showing us exactly what the game is going to be in the simplest way possible and letting us break down the analysis on our own. Here we have another version to store your loot. This, in combination with the very first photo, to me provides at least the idea that our bags and stuff are going to be equipped items. We're going to have to put these on. These are going to cost different variations of money. And if we die, we're going to lose them, right? Probably, if I had to guess, we're going to lose them. This is, at the end of the day, an extraction shooter. Well, an extraction slasher, whatever we want to call it. So we have all of this, and just look at all the detail that they've poured into here. I know for you as a viewer, you've seen a million things, but think of it this way. This is before they've even started putting together the pieces of something final. They are so passionate in everything that they do, and it's very apparent from everything that we see here. So we saw a health potion, the Ampoule up here. That is a health potion, make no mistake about it. There is a heart there. We see another Ampoules, more of these grouped up. We see the same system above. So what does this tell us for health and healing mechanics? To me, this tells me that you're going to be getting bulk of your health back temporarily in the form of potions that either you carry on you into raid or your healer provides to you. But more than that, the thing that got us super excited when we saw it was these blood bags. These blood bags, to me, shed light on the possibility of, I won't say a complex medical system, more complex than something like Hunt Showdown. So you're going to have the ability to put blood back in your body. So is losing blood going to be a mechanic that tells you how long you can fight in this raid? What if I put dirty blood in me and it's full of hunger, plague juice? Am I screwed? Who knows? But to me, this sheds a little bit of light. I believe this is something that kind of gives us a little sneak peek at, we're not just going to get a very basic health system. There is going to be a little bit of complexity to it. I don't know if these are going to be healer specific or healing tree specific items that you unlock. But to me, that's exciting, because what's more immersive than having to fix your injuries in the field of battle? Here we see bottles. We're going to see more of these. These are presumably holding either water and or alcohol. I don't know if a lot of people know this, but way back in the day in Europe, it was actually safer to drink beer than water because it went through some form of a distilling process. So there was less likelihood that you were going to get sick. While a lot of people drank beer every day and or wine. So we have food cans here. So again, what is this telling us as a community, as a player base? To me, this is telling us that we are going to have to manage our food and our hydration. So there's those survival elements that we can expect to see. We're kind of seeing some of the containers here. Again, we're seeing kind of blood bags, medical items. This one, again, something very telling, very, very telling. And I'm happy we came up on this, that we're going to have to maintain our gear, and even in the field. Like, we might have to slap one of these on. We get beat up enough. I take a musket ball to the ribs. I might have to put a repair patch on my breastplate. And this is like, it's telling us the mechanics without directly saying, hey, here's the mechanics. So what do we know? We know there's going to be food. There's going to be water to manage. We know that at the very least, there is going to be blood. You're going to have to manage your blood. If you lose too much blood, I'm assuming it's going to be a big deal. Otherwise, they wouldn't have been thinking about blood bags this early. So in junction with all the information that we have gotten from the characters, I'm very excited, to say the least. Very, very excited. This is where I think we're getting into those classes, those skill trees, those specializations. You might get a hole in your breastplate, but if you don't have somebody on your team, in your trio, that can help you fix that, you might be shit out of luck and need to exit raid early. But anyway, regardless, we're going to do one more quick little sneak peek. We're going to go back to the source material, which is the Steam page. I'm just going to leave you guys with this. We're going to be able to explore the forest, villages, monasteries, citadels, mines, and more with other living in an attempt to explore and plunder the remains of the world after the end. So make no mistake about it, folks. This is going to be a looter shooter or a looter slasher. This is going to be extraction based or oriented. We do know that we're going to get teams of up to 3. So if you got 4 homies, maybe start tempering their expectations now for when this game comes out. Hey, we might have to split up into some duos, do some things. But I am very excited for Hunger. I have next to no information to go off of it other than a trailer and everything that we have been blessed to have been shared with us by Good Fun Corp. But I'm very excited. Why am I very excited? Because this genre is so good. This genre is so good, and so many games and companies don't do it any justice. From what I'm seeing here, I'm seeing a lot of passion, a lot of work, a lot of research to remain authentic. Their vision is their vision. Don't go into this expecting a Tarkov, because I can tell you right now from everything I've seen, it's not going to be that. The only thing Tarkov like is the fact that there will be raids. But what you can expect is a game that I think is going to be pretty good. I think it's going to be very good. Going to be something different. Maybe some of us won't be fans of it that are fans of the genre. At the very least, I definitely think it is something to look forward to. Go ahead, give us a like and subscribe here at the Caliber Collective. We'll do further breakdowns of this a little bit more in depth. I wanted to stay very broad today. I got carried away a little bit. We went up way over time. So interested to see what the final version of this after edits is even going to look like. But stay tuned with us. If you are interested in extraction shooters or FPS games, go ahead and give our community a check out. We'll have the Discord link for our community in the description of this video. And until next time, folks, I look forward to seeing you guys in the future, learning more about Hunger together. See you out there.